Hi guys, how are you? Hope everyone is doing good. So, so let us start today's session and we will do, let me check my mic here. Is it working or not? Yes, it's working. Okay, fine. So guys, today we will start our next topic, that is CDP, stands for Cisco Discovery Protocol, and we will also do today trunking between switches, in which we will understand the topic like DTP and VTP. Okay, so first of all we will start with Cisco Discovery Protocol, and then we will move to Dynamic Trunking Protocol and VLAN Trunking Protocol, which is trunking between switches. Okay, so let us start with the first topic now. Fine, fine. So what is CDP? What is CDP? Okay, so CDP, as we can see here, like CDP stands for Cisco Discovery Protocol, right? What does it mean? It helps. CDP is a function, you can say, like it's a function which helps us to identify the Cisco devices connected to each other, right? Which is connected to our neighbor. We can know about the details of that neighbor device. Okay, so you can say like CDP is a function which helps us to identify or just look here, like protocol. CDP is a protocol which helps us to discover the details of a Cisco neighboring device. Right now it is clear, like CDP is a function, or the CDP is a protocol which is used to identify the Cisco device connected to each other. It is useful. Why exactly we use CDP? Use of CDP. So as I told you that CDP is a protocol which helps you to identify the connected device to our neighbor. So what does it mean in real environment? Like in simulator, you can see here, like in simulator, whether you are using GNS3, you are able to see like this router is connected to this router, and this router is connected to this router, and this router is connected to this router. Or in packet tracer, whatever we can see is crystal clear. Now the challenge is, like in real environment, whenever you will enter to the server room, you will see a stack over here. Okay, and you will see one router, two router, one switch, two switch, something like that. You will get multiple devices. Now the cable which is connected to this, or this to this, or this to this. Okay, how will you identify like which device is connected to? Suppose from here something is went to our next uh, building or next room, and where exactly is it's connecting. So no, we do not have any clue, like we are completely blind on that condition, right? Now how will you identify that my this device, suppose if I am connected to this router through console or through like telnet, through the remote access from our PC. So how will you identify that this device is connected to which device? Okay, So it's impossible to understand, and you will like catch the wire and go to the next building and check like which like that port is, that cable is connected to which port or where exactly it's connecting. So it's not possible. So in that kind of scenario, we use CDP. Okay, CDP helps us. CDP helps us, or CDP is a useful. CDP is useful to uh, building accurate network diagram. Right? Suppose if I'm the administrator, I have set up this complete network, so I know like which device is connected to which device. If in case someone will get fired or left the organization, he joined other organization or whatever, like he got some accident or something. Okay, if you are appointed as a new administrator, how will you understand if you do not have any network diagram? How will you understand like which devices is connected to which devices, right? So CDP is useful to build a accurate network diagram. Okay, now as we understand that CDP is a stands with Cisco Discovery Protocol, and it helps you to identify only the Cisco neighboring devices. What about others? If I am using a Cisco devices and that is connected with other HPE or any other vendor devices, okay, or Juniper or anyone. So how will you understand, or how will we draw a network diagram regarding that? So here another protocol which is LLDP, okay, link layer discovery protocol comes into the picture, which is industry standard, and that will help you to draw the network diagram for any vendor. Okay, now before I proceed further, let us understand few things about CDP and LLDP, because both functionality is same. CDP is a Cisco proprietary and LDP is a industry standard. So just for better understanding, let me write down here CDP and LLDP, right? It tells you, the first thing is how devices are connected. So this is the functionality of both the protocol, CDP or LLDP. Now CDP is Cisco proprietary and LLDP is industry standard. Okay, cool. Now both runs at layer 2 of OSI reference model. What does it mean? CDP and LLDP both runs at layer 2 of OSI reference model. Now, what does it mean? It means that suppose if you have two routers, this is R1 and this is R2. These both are connected to the cable. Even if you do not have assigned IP address to this device and this device, still it will show you the neighboring devices. Okay, that is why you can say like it runs at layer 2 of OSI reference model, and the full form it itself saying you that link layer discovery protocol, right? Link layer discovery protocol. So data link is the second layer, layer 2 of the OSI model. So to this terminologies, you can say like it's a layer 2 uh, protocol, right? Good. Now next thing is CDP use broadcast or multicast frame. as per the logic, just try to understand. CDP used multicast or the broadcast frame for discovery. What does your logic says? Just apply your logic, pause the video for 1 or 2 minutes, think like it works on multicast or the broadcast. Okay, let me explain you. We know about multicast, we know about broadcast. If a device receives a frame or packet, suppose if PC1 is sending a packet to switch, he want to reach this PC, 2 3 4 5 6, PC is number 6. So what will switch to? It will broadcast to all the ports whichever is connected to the switch. So broadcast means one to all. Unicast means one to one. And multicast means one to many, right? Now, as we have learned right now that CDP is a protocol which helps you to identify the neighboring connected Cisco device, right? Or LLDP helps you to identify the connected uh, any other vendor internetworking device. It means it is sending frame, or it is like forwarding the frame only to the device which is internetworking device, not to the end devices, right? So if my router is connected to a switch over here, if I will check like what are the devices on this router, suppose R1, SW1 and R2. If I'll check on R1, here we have 2 or 3 pieces connected. Okay, here I have 2 PC connected. Okay, here I have 3 PC connected. Okay, on R1, if I'll try to find out which are the neighboring devices connected to me, it will show you the details of SW1. Okay, on SW1, if you will try to find out the details of the neighboring device, it will show you R1 and R2, not this. Okay, and R2 it will show you SW1. So it means it is not sending discovery frame to all the ports whichever is connected. It is sending the frames only to the port whichever is connected to the internet networking devices, right? So that means it sends multicast frames. Okay, so you can make a note of it. It's a very important question. CDP uses multicast frames. Okay, CDP or LLDP, you can say CDP and LLDP uses multicast frames. Clear? Good. Now let us come to a scenario here. Mm, here. I'm taking a router over here, right? And I'm going to connect router to this device. I'm connecting it wrong cable. Fine. enable config t hostname r1 sorry hostname r1 and int z 0/0/0 no shut. Okay, come to router second no enable config t int z 0/0/0 no shut. Okay, fine. So right now I have not given any IP addresses or as such. I have just uh, enabled the port, okay, through which I have connected the devices, and I have changed the host name so that I can identify the device, right? And so CDP neighbors. So as I have entered so CDP neighbors, you can see here without any IP addresses, I have just enabled the port and it is showing device ID router. It is showing there. Look here, one second. Local interface, the interface of that device means my. Right now I am on which device? Local interface means the port of my device where I am exactly right now. So the local port is Z0/0/0 and the platform, okay, you can see like a hold down time. Capability R indicates router, capability router. T will indicate trans bridge, B source route bridge, S switch, H host, IGMP repeater phone. So right now R is showing router. The capability of the device is router. Platform iOS version, it will show you that. And the port ID means the neighboring port ID is Z0/0/0, right? So CDP, I have not run CDP. CDP is by default running on that device, correct? Now if I check here, because it's showing the device ID is router, okay, fine. Now I want to check the details of the device. So CDP neighboring or neighbors details. So the details information, it will show you the details information. So type details. Look here. Now, okay, I have not changed the name over here. That is why it's not showing the name. Let me change the host name. Host name R2. Okay, come to this. Still it's in router. It will take 30 seconds to 1 minute to send the discovery message. Look here. It's showing the hold down time. After how many minutes, how many seconds, it will send you the discovery message. Look here. R2, it's changed now. Okay, it is changed now. It was showing here routers. Now it is showing R2. Okay, it sent the discovery details, and you can see here like we have two entries over here. One is for router and one is for R2, but both devices are same. The thing is, it is not updated in the database of this R1 router. After few times it will stop, like this entry will stop broadcasting because there is no such entries, there is no router, so only this will remaining. Wait for a few seconds, 73 seconds more. In this meanwhile, let us check the neighboring details. So right now it is showing router and R2 both, but let us check for R2 only. So here it is showing the details, the complete details of the neighboring device, means iOS version, okay, capability, interface, okay, through which it is connected, the local interface, the port to which I have connected the next hop or the neighboring device port, and then it will show you the versions and all here, everything, all the details you will get it from here, right? Let us try now once again. 18 more seconds. Look here, after 0 have not received any discovery message for that, so it is removed now, right? It's clear. So it will send the discovery message on an interval of time. It's clear. Now as I told you that CDP by default runs automatically, but there is some merit and some demerit as well, some benefit and some drawbacks of this protocol. What are the benefits? The benefits is, you can, if you are blind, don't know anything, you can draw a network diagram of your entire network. This is the benefit, right? The drawbacks, if I'll put IP address over here, I will get each and every details. If any hacker will connect to the network, he will be able to check the IP address of the neighboring device, and he can access to that device through that IP address. He can remotely access or whatever, and then he will have the complete access. So if you want to stop the CDP protocol, if you want to stop, by default it's running. If you want to stop, go to configuration mode. Now type the command no CDP run. Okay, CDP stops. Let us check. So CDP neighbors, CDP is not enabled. CDP is not enabled, so it will not show you anything. If in case, for example, suppose if I am here, okay, this is my uh, local network. Here also I have my local network, okay, and on this end I have connected to the cloud, to ISP router. I want the complete access, or I want to enable the CDP for all this network so that I can draw a network diagram. I just want to stop it from here so that the external one or other networks cannot get the details of my device. That we can also do. How? Let me enable here. CDP run to enable it. Done. So CDP neighbors, it started showing here. It will take some time to send the discovery message. Right. So if you want to stop on this interface, so whatever the interface is, suppose that is the serial interface. So I'm just going here, int s se 0/0. No serial interface there. Let me check. Okay, there's no serial interface. No worries. Just try. I have connected 0/0/0. Let me try with int z 0/0/1. Just assume that is this interface is connected to the internet or ISP, okay, or the cloud. I will go to that interface, and on that interface I will run the command no CDP enable, right? Global configuration mode, if you want to stop the complete CDP, the command would be CDP run, no CDP run. But on interface, if you want to stop it, no CDP enable. So do not confuse in this. There is two command, CDP run and CDP enable. CDP run is for the global configuration mode to enable the complete, enable or disable the complete protocol on the entire device. And CDP enable is the interface mode command. It is used to enable or disable the Cisco discovery protocol on particular interface only, right? So no CDP enable, done. It will stop sending the discovery messages to the neighboring devices connected to that particular port. Clear? Now we have few commands to verify the Cisco discovery protocol. We have discussed already while checking that. Let us come here and once again discuss on that. So the first command is show CDP. This will show you that the details about the CDP, sending CDP packets every 60 seconds, sending a hold time values of 180 seconds, and sending CDP version 2 advertisement is enabled. Right now CDP is enabled, so it is showing enable, right? Good. Now second command, show CDP neighbors. It will show you the details of the neighboring devices, right? If you want to check the details in details, okay, the command is show CDP neighbors details. Okay, it will show you the details in the complete details with the complete details. Good. Now the last command is show CDP entry. Then if you want, suppose if you are connected with 4 or 5 devices, right? If you want to check only particular neighbors, suppose I want to check R2, so CDP entry R2, it will show you only the R2 details. If you want to check the details for all, look here, we have asterisk sign. It will show you all CDP neighbors entries. So asterisk, you can say like it is just a another way to type. So CDP neighbor details. So it will show you all the details of that device, right? So this is what CDP is. Now we will come here with the practical example. You can see here on the screen, I have a PC. I have a PC and which is connected to the console cable to some devices. I don't know which devices it is. I am completely blind over here, right? Okay, one more thing before I proceed further. Whatever command we were using for CDP, the same command is used for LLDP as well. Okay, so CDP, that would be LLDP. It will show you the details. Let me show you. Now enable show LLDP. LLDP is not enabled, right? So once you will connect to enable LLDP run, okay, go to configuration mode, LLDP run, it will enable the LLDP, show LLDP. It is showing the same thing here. For CDP it was 180 seconds, for LLDP it is 120 seconds, right? And delay is 2 seconds. Interface reinitialization delay is 2 seconds. So this is the industry standard, and CDP is the Cisco proprietary, so that works on only a Cisco devices, right? Good. Now let us come to this scenario. So right now I have a PC on the screen that is connected to some of the devices. I don't know to which devices it's connected. I can only see this PC is connected through the console cable. Now I have to draw a network diagram and understand like how CDP works, and it helps you to draw a network diagram or to understand an entire network. Okay. Now let me take a paint over here so that I can draw the network diagram. Cool. Fine. So as it is connected to the console, I will click on the PC. I will go to the desktop. I will go to the terminal. Right. Okay. Fine. Good. I know the password of all the devices is Cisco. Okay. That I know. So Cisco. Right now it is showing me R0. Okay. R0 is the host name. Enable show sorry, Cisco. Right. So I'm on R0 now. If I'll check the version, so version, it is showing me everything, the details about that device. Okay. So through this iOS, you can understand like which device it is. If you are not aware about that, okay, no need to worry. No need to worry. Just 1 second. So from here you can see the details of that device. So there's another command. So boot version, it is not supported in packet tracer. Let me check the GNS3. So boot version, yes. So through this command, boot LDR, okay, variable configuration register 2102. Okay. Show version. Okay, so here you can see like Cisco 7200 series port adapter hardware, and this, so this you can understand like which device you are using. In packet tracer there is some limitation, that is why it's not showing the complete details. Okay, but through this show version command you will be able to check the capability of that device as well. Okay. Now let us come to the next thing. Capacity, 1 second. Look here. Okay, fine. So let us back to this scenario. Now from here I can see like this is a device, this is the PC is connected to a device named as R0. Still, if you are not confirmed, if you're not aware, leave that, no need to worry about that. Let me note down here, it is connected to a device R0. This PC is connected to a device that is R0. I'm not aware about that device is what, is it a switch or a router or any other device. Okay, just leave that. Let us come to the next point here. Just type here show CDP neighbors. Okay, good. It is showing me that device ID this device R0 is connected to three devices. One is SW0, R1 and R2. Okay, R0 is connected to SW0, R1 and R2. Correct. Now from here you can see the capability. S indicates switch. This is a switch. R is router, right? So let me draw here. So R0 is connected to three devices, R1, R2 and SW0. So just take an example. If it is connected to R1, which is a router, okay, and R2, which is a switch, and somewhere it is connected to a switch, which is SW1, right? This is what we are getting here. PC, yes, sorry, SW0, SW0. Good. Now what else we can get here? Okay, the interface I'm also getting here. SW0 is connected through F00. So here we have fast Ethernet 00. Okay, and 20, R1 is from serial interface 20 and R2 is from serial interface 30. So this is connected through serial 20 and serial 30. Okay, so I'm just writing small, so please understand it. Now I got the details from here. Good. Now what next? So if I want to check the details of R1, okay, for example R1, if I want to check the details of R1, like what devices are connected to R1, through R0 three devices are connected, there is no any other questions. Now from R1 how many devices are connected, let us check now. Show CDP neighbors, you can type details or show CDP entries R1. Okay, look here, from R1 device R1, the IP address is showing 0.2, right? The IP address whatever I am getting for R1 is 0.2. The capability is showing router. Serial interface it's showing 20, right? So from here, okay, this can we can get it from here as well. So R1, you can see here, this R1 is connected to a SW serial 20. So here also we have serial 20 and R2 is connected to serial 30. Serial 30. Okay. Now I got the IP address of R1, that is 192.168.0.2. So from this router I will go ahead and telnet on 192.168.0.2. 0.2 password Cisco. Look here, now I am on R1, right? Enable Cisco. Cool. Now from this device, let me check. So CDP neighbors. So CDP neighbors. So it is showing me it is also connected with three devices. One is R0. Look here, R0 means it's showing about this network. It is showing about this network. So the capability is showing here is R, means that device was a router. So this is my router here. Okay, fine. I got the information about that. What are the capability? Fine. Now R1 is connected with two other devices, which is uh, apart from R0, it is connected to SW2 and R2. Okay, R2 means this R1 is also connected to R2. So we have a connectivity like this, and this R1 is also connected with a switch over here. The name is SW2, if I'm not wrong. SW2, yes. The port is also given there, 00, 30 and 20. So R2 is connected through 30. Here we have serial interface 30. Here we have fast Ethernet 00, and this is from 20. Done. Now let us come to next device, and here we have the port as well. Switch port is 24. That switch is connected, SW2 is connected with last port, that is 24, and the other like ports R0 is 20, which I can see here. Okay, it's clearly mentioned, and R2 is 20. So R2 is connected with here 20. Now let us come to the third. Let me check. I got the information about R0, R1. Let us go to the switch 2 now. Okay, because R1 is also connected to switch 2 and R0. So let me check like switch 2 is connected with any further router or any other devices or not. So just go here on switch 2, show CDP entry SW2. The IP is 2.2. So let me telnet 192.168.2.2. Fine. Cisco enable Cisco. Fine. I'm on switch 2 now. Let me check. So CDP neighbors, it is connected with only one device, that is R1, which I was there already. So there is no any further devices. So just come out from there. Exit. Now I'm on R1. So from R1, let me check to R2 as well. So CDP entries R2. So R2 IP address is 0.10. Let me tell it on that. Telnet 192.168.0.10. Cisco enable Cisco. So I'm on switch 2 now. Let me check. So CDP neighbors. Fine. So here also we are getting three devices connected to R2. One is SW1. Okay, this is a new device altogether. So we have here a new device, that is SW1. Okay, what next? It is connected with R0, which I already have drawn the diagram with port number 30. Yes, I have that information 3.0, and that router's interface is 3.0. Yes, that is correct, and that is the router. Fine. Serial 20, R1 is connected with serial 20, that I already have drawn, and that interface is 30. Yes, that is there 30. 20, 30, 20, 30, right. So I already have drawn everything. Apart from this switch, let me check the details that that switch is connected to any further devices or not. So CDP neighbors or details, you can just type here. It will show you all the details here. So from R0, no, I don't need that information. SW1, the IP is 3.2. So let me telnet on that. Telnet 192.168.3.2. Cisco enable Cisco. I'm on switch 1 now. Let me check. So CDP neighbors, only one device, that is R2. Yes, it is connected with only R2 with fast Ethernet 00. Here we have a port, fast Ethernet 00, and this is 024. This is 024. Fine. So done this R0, R1, R2, this done. Now come to R2 and go to R0 and check SW0 is connected with any other further devices or not. Okay. So switch 1, just come out from here, exit from R2, exit from R1, exit. Now I am on R0, right? So from R0, show CDP entry SW0. The IP is 1.2. Fine. Let me telnet 192.168.1.2. Cisco enable Cisco. Now switch 0, so CDP neighbors. Okay, fine. Only one device is there, which is R0, which I already have drawn it. The port is 01. This port is 01, 01, and that is 00. Done. Cool. So now I also got the IP addresses. If you want, you can make the note of the IP addresses as well. Okay, everywhere. And you can also get the details like to which port is this connected. So you will get each and every information from here, right? Now let us check that whatever the diagram I have drawn, it is correct or not. So this is the diagram. Look here, right? So this is the same diagram which I have drawn here. So this is how you can draw the network diagram through Cisco Discovery Protocol or link layer discovery protocol. Look here. Yes, it's correct one, right? So I hope this would be informative for you. Let us move to the next topic. If you have any query from CDP, you can ping me or contact me. I will definitely try to give the answers of all your questions. Okay. Now move to the next topic, which is, let me open the new tab here. Paint. Okay, so our next topic is, let me take a color here. Trunking between switches. Okay, now we know what does the mean of trunk, right? We already have discussed while we are doing our VLAN session. So trunking, we know that. So between switch, how many types of trunk we have? Okay, so suppose if these two switches are connected, okay, and I am having 1 2 VLAN, 1 2 VLAN, right? So the question is why we required trunking protocols, why we required trunk. Okay, so the answer would be, first and the most important is, in a small industry or small organization, you will not face difficulties in configuring the devices manually if you have one or two devices, right? But think, if you're working in a large enterprise or large organization and there are uh, 50 60 switches with the same configuration, right? Suppose if you have 50 VLANs and you have to configure that in 50 switches. Okay, you will go to switch, you will configure VLAN in first switch. Okay, now once again you will come to the second switch, you will configure VLAN. It is, the chances is very high that somehow somewhere you will do some kind of mistyping or something, right? So that is why we required, like, if I am configuring suppose VLAN 20 here and 30 here, so that should automatically create in all other switches, right, in all other switches without manual intervention, right? So I have created VLAN 2030 here. Automatically VLAN 20 and 30 should be created over here. 2030 here, 2030 here. So this will help you from any kind of error, right? Now, what are the overview of trunking? Let us discuss on that first. So overview of trunking. The first point is trunking. We already have discussed on that. Trunking many times, like in Cisco term, you are saying this as trunk, but in other terms, in other vendors, this is also known as tagging. Okay, so trunking in different vendors terms, it is also known as tagging. So trunking done between switches or tagging done between switches with which protocol? That is 801.802.1q, right? 802.1q. So this is the basically this is the trunking protocol. 802.1q is the trunking protocol which helps to tag a link or the interface so that it can forward the VLAN configuration from one device to another device, right? Now, the second thing is trunk ports configured on each interface or not. Be aware of that. Okay. Before that, let me discuss one more thing. Tag removes on existing or exiting access port. Tag remove on exiting access port means if you have a switch over here and you are connected with two PC over here, two PC over here. So we know that PC are the end devices, right? So after that, there is no any other internetworking devices. If you have connected a PC from any port of the switch, it means that is the exit port. After that, there is no any internetworking devices to extend the network. So what does it mean? Tag or trunk remove on exiting port means if you have any exit port, you cannot make that port as a trunk port. Okay, trunk port would be always the port which is connected to the internet networking devices like switch or router. That is why that is why uh, okay, just mention here to clarify access port. The devices which is connected to the PC or the end devices, we always make that as a access port so that device can understand, okay, this is my exit port, exit interface. So we have created the access port, that interface. Now the last one is the same, the previous statement carries forward with that. Trunk port configured on each interfaces or not. Be aware of that. Do not configure the trunk port each and every port of the switch, because if you are creating, suppose if you have this port which is not connected to any of the internet networking devices, and if you have connected this port as a trunk port, anyone can connect the switch to that port and can access the entire network. Okay, so this is how the overview of trunking. Now let us come, we have two types of uh, trunking, Okay, one is dynamic trunking protocol and one is static trunking protocol. Okay, now, or you can say manual. One is dynamic configuration. Okay, let me come here. First discuss on DTP. What is DTP? Stands for dynamic trunking protocol. Again, my favorite, the terminologies. Dynamic, we know dynamic word. Dynamic stands for automatic without any manual intervention, right? Trunking, we just discussed on that. Protocol, we know the set of rules or the instruction is known as protocol. Now, dynamic trunking protocol, it itself saying that it will automatically decide which port is the trunking port. Okay, it will automatically decide. So first of all, let us discuss on DTP. What is dynamic trunking protocol? So it is a proprietary, DTP is a proprietary networking protocols. Proprietary means Cisco proprietary. It is a networking protocols developed by Cisco for the purpose of negotiating trunking on a link between two VLANs aware switches. Suppose if I have two switches over here which knows about some kind of VLAN information. Okay, so DTP is a Cisco proprietary networking protocols. The purpose of that is to share or aware about the VLANs between neighboring trunking devices, right? As simple as that. Now we have, let me clear this image. Sorry guys. Yes. So first of all, we have to understand the default mode of DTP is dynamic desirable. Okay, dynamic desirable. Fine. Now, first of all, before I proceed further, let us understand the logic. Okay, the term dynamic desirable. Dynamic, we understand what does it mean, dynamic. If you will understand the term, I promise you that the entire concept will become super easy, right? Dynamic means automatic, desirable means your desire, right? So if I want to do this, if it's dynamic, it is not, there is no any restriction. If someone is looking for something, he will automatically give you that thing, right? If I am desire for something, just take an example. Suppose if I am a boy and in my college we have a girl, right? We are sitting on a bench. Okay, I just look at them, look at her and think that wow, she is so pretty, right? She is also thinking like that, but she is not looking at me. She is waiting for me to respond something. Okay, so I am desired for her. What will happen? She is dynamic. Okay, she is in dynamic mode and I am desire for her. So if I look at her and say something that yes, I want to be your boyfriend or if I want to marry you, C is in dynamic mode. C is also wants someone to like give the access. So C will automatically give you the access for that. So this is how dynamic desirable works. If you are desired, it will automatically give you that access, right? Now, in this situation, in DTP configuration, how it works, the same way. Let me complete that. Now, before I proceed further, let me type here. Sorry, let me write here. The first thing is enable trunking protocol. Enable trunking protocol. What does it mean? We have two types or two variants of configuration. One is manual and another one is dynamic. Manual configuration and another is in dynamic configuration. Now, in manual configuration, you will say, you will tell the switch, if I have two switch over here which is connected to each other, okay. In manual configuration, you will say to the switch like it would be a trunk port or no negotiate. No negotiate. Okay. It is no negotiate. We will come into that. What does it mean? The second one is dynamic configuration. In dynamic configuration, we have two mode. One is dynamic auto or one is dynamic desirable. Okay. Dynamic auto and dynamic desirable. Dynamic configuration can be creepy. Okay. Use no negotiate means, suppose, let me take an example over here. Let me come to this, close this. I have taken two switches connected. Let it be up. Means, okay, now I'm just going to understand the process of trunk and no negotiate. What does it mean? Enable config T, right? Now, int fa0/1 switch port mode trunk, right? To make the trunk port, the command is switch port mode trunk. This is manual configuration. I am going ahead and saying that this port would be the trunk port, right? So before that, let me check something. Do show VLAN. I think that command is not working here. Show VLAN interface. No, that is not working here. No worries. Show interfaces. No, it's not showing here. No worries. So here I am going ahead and going to the interface configuration mode, show no intfa 0/1. So the command is to configure it manually, show, sorry, uh, switch port mode trunk, right? In older versions, by default, that trunk, whenever you will type this command, show switch port mode trunk, maybe if it is the older version or older iOS or older switch, that command will not take. So you have to give an extra command, and that command is uh, switch port trunk encapsulation switch port. There's a difference command. The command is switch port trunk encapsulation dot one q. Okay, so that is not taking here. In newer version, you will directly give that command switch port. Okay, 1 second. Switch port mode trunk switch port trunk. No, that is not there. No worries. So in newer version, that switch port mode trunk will automatically work, right? Now, after that, if I'll give a command switch port no negotiate, means on the other end, on the other end, if someone else, look at the example, right? If I am here manually configured as trunk and I have given no negotiate, do not negotiate any automatically DTP uh, packets or the broadcast to get the trunk port. So someone from other end, if he or she is desirable, if he sends the DTP message, if he wants to be the trunk port, you will no negotiate that. Okay, so the ideal way to configure it manually is give the command switch port mode trunk, along with that give the command no negotiate. Okay, switch port no negotiate. Now let us come, we will come into that once again, but first of all let us complete the theory part. Fine. Difference between dynamic auto and dynamic desirable, right? Difference between dynamic auto and dynamic desirable. Fine. Now this word auto and desirable, it itself tell you what will happen, right? Just for an example, auto means we know that automatically. Desirable means yes, I want, it's my desire, right? So suppose these two switches are connected to each other, and it's a very important topic in your exam. This question can be tricky. Okay, so you will get this question definitely at least one or two questions from this topic, and that would be very tricky. Okay, now suppose this interface is X and this interface is Y. Please make a note of at least this thing, whatever I'm going to write here. It will definitely give you a question in your exam, right? And it's a very simple to understand but very tricky. Okay, if you'll get a question, it will be tricky. Okay, Many people get stuck on this. Now, this is X and this is Y, right? If I have configured if X and if Y, if X is in auto mode, okay, come to switch here, switch port trunk, look here, oh sorry, switch port mode. While we are configuring in VLAN, you remember we were configuring only access and trunk, right? Switch port mode access and switch port mode trunk. Trunk which is connected to the internet working devices, and access which is connected to the end devices. Now here is another term, dynamic, right? So you can see the instruction, set trunking mode to dynamic, negotiate access or trunk mode. So if you type here switch port mode dynamic and check the here, it is auto and desirable, right? What is the difference between auto and what is the difference between desirable? What does it mean? Now the word itself is showing auto means automatically whatever is there it will give you. If you are desire, I will give the permission. If you are not desire, I'll not give you the permission, right? If you are in auto mode, I am also in the auto mode, what will happen? Let us come into that. So if X is in auto and Y is in desirable, what would be the result? Desirable will always send you, we as we discussed by default, all the ports, look here, default mode of DTP is dynamic desirable, right? So everyone is desired, everyone wants, yes I want to be a trunk, yes I want to be a trunk, I want to be a trunk, I want to be a trunk. Everyone is desired about the trunk port, okay? So everyone will send you the DTP packet, I want to be a trunk. So if X is in auto mode, if X I have configured this as an auto mode and Y I have configured as desirable, the result would be it will become the trunk, because I want to be a trunk and you have given me the auto permission, so I will become a trunk port, right? If X is auto and Y is auto, I am also in auto mode, you are also in auto mode, but no one is desired. It will become as a access port. Okay, no one is sending the DTP message. No one wants to be a trunk port. I can give you the permission to be the trunk, and you are also in the situation to give me the permission for the trunk, but no one is requesting. Just this example, I am ready to give you the permission to be my girlfriend. This girl is ready to give you the permission for the boyfriend, but no one is talking to each other and both have their own ego. So what will become? I will become the single and she will also become the single, right? So that is what access is, connected to the single device. Now if X, just reverse it, if X is desirable and Y is also desirable, it's the best situation, it will become a trunk, right? Very simple to understand. If I am also desirable, you are also like my that girl is also desirable, automatically we will get engaged, right? So it will become the trunk port. This is desirable and this is auto. Again the same condition, one is desirable, one is auto, it will become trunk. Only the situation when both are in the auto mode, that will not be the trunk port, that will be the access port, right? So this is what, if we have configured dynamically on both the interfaces, both the end, whether it is auto or desirable, but it is in the dynamic mode, right? Just give me 1 second. Okay, it's very difficult to work from home here. Okay, now the next thing, if both the end is dynamically configured, then we will get this result. Now, what will happen if one end is configured manually, okay, and another end is uh, like manual or whatever? So what will happen, right? Let us come to that. The same scenario, switch, switch X and Y. If X, if Y, result, what will be the result, right? Now, if I have configured X as a trunk port and Y, it's dynamically auto. Look here, trunk, auto. It is sending the message, right? Because it's trunk, it will broadcast, it will forward, and auto, it is auto mode. So it will become the trunk, right? Now, trunk, the second one is desirable. It will become the trunk, okay? Trunk, manually I have configured trunk. It will become trunk, right? So whatever is there, okay, it will automatically become trunk in manual configuration. But in the situation if one side is trunk and one side is axis, no result, right? Why? I have configured this port as an access port, means for this switch, this port is connected to the end devices, right? So whether this switch is trunk or desirable or auto, that doesn't matter, right? So we'll get nothing over here. It will always become the access. The same condition if on one end you have access and another one is trunk, auto, desirable, or whatever, that doesn't matter, right? Access means it is connected to the end system, exit interface, that's it. So no result, okay? Any confusion to that? Hope no. Now, no negotiate, we have discussed on that. What is the meaning? No negotiate can simplified, or simply you can understand like it is means, it means from that it will not permit any DTP. It is stopping, or it will stop trying to be become a trunk. So if I have configured uh, no negotiate on any port, suppose if I have configured here trunk, suppose if I have configured trunk over here, and also like configured no negotiate, means I will not give you the permission. If you are sending me the DTP message, please do not send me that message. I will not negotiate that, okay? I can't give you the permission, okay? So that is what the ideal configuration is, okay? Now let us come to the next slide here. Fine. Now, as we have configured, discussed already, ideal configuration to configure of ideal command to configure trunk. Just go to the interface mode. Switch port mode trunk and switch port no negotiate. Okay, done. So interface is a command through which you can check. Suppose if I have configured here, enable. So interface FA0/1 switch port. It will show you the details of that interface. Switch port, it's enabled, right? Admin mode is trunk. We have created that port as a trunk port. Operation mode, it is working as a trunk. Administratively trunking encapsulation .1q, right? Operation trunking encapsulation .1q. Negotiation of trunking on. Okay, means someone from other end. Suppose I am going to the switch to here. Now I have not configured anything here. Let me check. Show anti-FA 0/1. So INT switch port, right? It's enabled. Dynamic auto. It was in dynamic auto and it was in trunk. So you can see here it is already becoming the trunk, right? Look here, trunking on. Now, if on this interface, I will give the command config t intfa 0/1 and switch port no negotiate. Okay. Now come to this. Again, I'm tapping here. Switch port, dynamic auto, trunk. Let's wait for some time. Look here. Blocking fastness 01 on VLAN 1, inconsistent port type. Okay. Now enable show interface FA 0/1 switch port. Look here. Right now it is dynamic auto, but operation mode is static access, right? What does it mean? Look here. As we have discussed here, if one is trunk, another one is auto, it was becoming trunking. But I have given a command no negotiate, means I will not negotiate any DTP, means dynamic trunking protocol packets, and I will not permit anyone. So it will become access port, right? Okay. Okay. So this is what no negotiate means. Okay. Now, if again I will go ahead and give a command over here, switch port negotiate. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry guys, there was a call. Right. So the command was switch port no negotiate. So let me negate that. No switch port no negotiate. So let it be sent once again. Still it's static access. It should send the message automatically. Dynamic go to static access now. Okay, let me disable it. Configuration mode INTFA 0/1 shut and no shut. Let me check now. Okay, look here. It was in dynamic auto mode and the operation mode is now trunk, right? So this is how it works. Now let us come to the next thing. If by default, we know that by default all the ports, if you check here, uh, show VLAN, do show VLAN, all the ports are by default in VLAN 1, right? By default all the ports are in VLAN 1, but I have configured that port number FA02, so that is become the trunk port, so it is not showing there in the as of now. But the trunk port, both end should be in the same VLAN. If you are, if you have configured FA01 for VLAN 10, that port, the next end uh, should be always there in the same VLAN with the first device port. Okay. So how to change the native VLAN? Suppose if I have configured everything like VLAN 10 as a native VLAN. So if I want FA0/1 as a, uh, 1 second, let me do it for you. Suppose switch int VLAN int FA0/1 switch port access VLAN 10. I have not created any VLAN, so it is not giving me, right? Yes. So first of all, let us create the VLAN 10 name A. Okay. And I'm going to interface now and giving that switch port access VLAN 10. So now FA01 is in VLAN 10, but my native VLAN is VLAN 1. I want for this switch, I want to be like this port to become the native VLAN. Okay, VLAN 10 should be the native VLAN. So how to do that? How to change that? So the command would be intfa01 switch port trunk native VLAN 10. Okay, the same thing will be happen here as well. If you check here, let me check on this. I have created VLAN here, so do so VLAN 1 is created here, and mm, look here, native VLAN mismatch. You are getting the error message. Native VLAN mismatch. Native VLAN mismatch discovered on fastnet 01. That is 10 with switch port. The VLAN is 1. So on this switch as well, int do show VLAN. If we have created any, no, there's no any VLAN as such, right? So I will go ahead and create a VLAN here, VLAN 10 and intfa name a. You are getting the same error message, native VLAN mismatch. So name a intfa 0/1, and the command would be switch port trunk native VLAN 10. Okay, now this is how we can change the native VLAN. Switch port trunk native VLAN 10. This is a command to change the native VLAN for that particular interface. Okay. Now if I'll go ahead and create any VLAN over here, suppose I am going ahead and creating VLAN. No. So this is how you can trunk. Now I have created manually a VLAN over here. Do so VLAN. One VLAN is here, and on this switch do so VLAN. I have one VLAN over here. Now I want to create multiple VLANs on this switch, and I want that to be same created on this switch as well. Okay, so how it works, let us check now. We are moving into the topic that is known as VTP, VLAN trunking protocol. Let me write it down here. Here only. VTP, that is VLAN trunking protocol, right? What does it mean, VLAN trunking protocol? From this word you will be able to understand, or you will think that it's a protocol for VLAN trunking, right? But it's not any protocol. VLAN trunking protocol, VTP, is not any protocol. Okay, VTP is not any protocol. The name is designed in such a way so that you can create VLANs using a trunking protocol, that is 802.1q. This is the trunking protocol. Okay, so you can create VLAN using trunking protocol, that is 802.1q. That is why it is known as VLAN trunking protocol. Okay, now VTP is not any protocol, so never ever say these things to anyone. Is VTP a protocol? No, VTP is not a protocol. Okay, this is just a process through which you can create multiple VLANs on different devices using a trunking protocol, which is 802.1q, or in earlier days it was ISL as well, right? Now what is VTP? VTP is a Cisco proprietary protocol. It carries VLAN information to all the switches in the VTP domain. Suppose if you have one domain over here, suppose these two switches in one domain, and another switch is connected which is a different domain altogether. So whatever VLAN I will create here in this switch, if that is in the same domain, so you will be able to find out the same VLAN created automatically in that switch, not in this switch, because that is not in the same domain. So it is mandatory to be in the same domain if you want to replicate a VLAN information from one device to the another device, right? Now VTP advertisement can be sent over 802.1q, which I informed here right now. Okay, VTP advertisement, VLAN trunking protocol advertisement can be sent over 802.1q or ISL trunks. But ISL is a older version. It was using in earlier days. Now 802.1q is the latest one. Okay. Now to check the status of the VTP right now, if you want to check the status of the VTP here on this switch, show VTP status. Okay, let me add a do here, right? So it is showing the VTP status is VTP version 2 is enabled. Configuration revision is 2. What does it mean? What does the meaning of configuration revision, right? Configuration revision is the database revision number. Whatever you will made any changes for VLAN, it will count as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So configuration revision means it is a database revision number, how many times you have changed in the database. Now by default the VTP operation mode is server. What does it mean? Okay, so for that let us discuss on one thing, different modes of VTP. Come here. VTP modes. Okay, so basically we have only three modes for VTP. Okay, the first one is server, the second one is client, and the third one is transparent. Okay, now in earlier days, server was the default one. Okay, server was default one. If you check uh, current syllabus of Cisco, VTP is removed now just because of one reason. Okay, there was a drawback for VTP. Okay, by default it was server. So before I proceed further and understand why it has been removed, we have to understand few things, which is very important, because still it is there in our devices. That is why we are discussing on this. It's a very important thing. That is why I have involved or include that in our syllabus. So to understand it, it is very important. Now server, if any device is in server mode, okay, the VTP mode is server, what it can do, we all know that. What does it mean? Server means can do anything, right? So it has the power to change VLAN information, because it is a server, right? The second thing which we can do it is from here, it sends and receives VTP advertisement or updates, you can say, right? And the third thing is it saves VLAN configuration, right? Means if you are in server mode, you can uh, change the VLAN information. You can send and receive the VTP VLAN trunking protocol updates, and you can save the VLAN configuration, right? So in earlier days, this was the default version or default mode for the VTP. Now, what clients can do? It cannot change VLAN information. It sends and receive VTP updates. Last, it cannot save uh, does not save VLAN configuration. Okay, done. Now, third, transparent. The transparent means it has the power to change VLAN information, right? It forwards VTP updates. Forwards means make sure. Forward means pass through. Means it will not make changes in itself, but it will, if it will receive any updates, it will pass through the next device. Okay. It does not listen to VTP updates. Last, it saves VLAN information. Means you can say like these two things is interconnected. If you are able to change the VLAN information, you will be able to save the VLAN information. If you do not have the access to create the VLAN, right, you will not be able to save the VLAN information, right? Here also, right? Now, what are the commands? Let us come to the practical part and check like what are the commands to configure VTP, VLAN trunking protocol. Okay, come here. Fine. So right now, if you check here, do so VTP status, it is showing this is the server mode, and look here. Here also enable show show VTP status. It is also in the server mode, right? Now look very carefully. I am going to configure VTP here. If I'll create any VLAN here, configuration mode, VLAN 20. No, VLAN 1 was already, VLAN 10 was already there. So I will go ahead and VLAN, create a new VLAN, VLAN 20, name B. If I go on this switch, show VLAN, nothing. So because both are in the server mode, right? And we have not configured VTP over here. So let us check and create, because as I told you that it will work in the same domain, right? So let me configure here, exit. So the first thing we have to VTP version 2, which use the token ring. VTP version 2 use the token ring. Now VTP domain Krishna. Okay, changing VTP name from null to domain. Okay, good. Now VTP password, if I want to secure Krishna, done. Now VTP mode is by default server. I want to keep this as a server. VTP mode server. If you want to change that, you can give the mode as client server or transparent. Okay. Now VTP mode, I want to this as a server. Device mode already VTP server, right? Now come to this config t VTP version 2, done. VTP domain Krishna. It was in auto mode, that is why it's giving like already in the Krishna. VTP, say I want it to be, okay, let me enter the password. Okay, it's very simple. You can give a question mark here. You will get domain, mode, password, and version. These four things you have to configure. That's it. So VTP domain I have done. VTP password done. No, version done. Mode and password we have to configure. So VTP mode client and VTP password Krishna, same password, right? Now I'm going here and whatever I have created, let me check here. Do show VLAN. It's not showing there. Config t VLAN 30 name C. Is it getting that response here? Do so VLAN 30, right? So as I have created a VLAN over here in the server, it is already automatically getting that updates and it is updating in that server. If you check the status, do so VTP status, it will show you the revision configuration revision number 4, right? Because here from here it is taking the configuration register number 4. So show VTP, do show VTP status. Look here, I've made 4 changes here. So it is forwarding that VTP updates to that neighboring device. If in future I have like taken a new switch, I have connected it here from 2 to 2, right? Show interface trunk f is 0/2 or fa 0/2 trunk or switch port. Mm. Dynamic auto, this is in dynamic auto and this that is also in dynamic auto. So both are in the auto state, so it will not become the trunk port. So we have to create the trunk port here. So first of all, configuration mode INT-FA 0/2 INT-FA 0/2 switch port mode trunk. Okay, As I have created this as a trunk port, let me go to the next switch here and type that command here, enable show int fa0/2 switch port. It is static access right now. Wait for some time. Look here, it is changed to trunk now, right? So now, yes. So let me check here. Show VLAN. Nothing is configured. Keep in the same domain here. Config T, VTP version 2, VTP domain Krishna, VTP password Krishna, VTP mode client. Okay. Do show VLAN. Look here. As I have created this and add in the same domain, it is already automatically getting 10 and 30, right? In case, so now look here, on the server, I am going ahead and creating that new VLAN 40 name D. I have created on the server. Let us check the client one. Do so VLAN 40 is already created here, and on this as well. Do so VLAN 40 is created automatically, right? Now we have checked with server and client. Now let us check with the transparent. Suppose if right now it is a client, I am going to make this as a transparent. VTP mode transparent. Now what will happen? If you check here, do so VLAN, whatever it was there, it is already there, right? If you check the status, do so VTP status, right now the configuration is revised to 0, means now it will not update anything. Whatever was there, it will still remain there, but the revision number will become 0. And here if you check the status, do so VLAN, we have the VLAN here. This is in the client mode. Now do show VTP status. Here the revision number is 6, right? So I am going to create another VLAN here. Before that, let us check the revision number here. Do show VTP status. We have 6. Now I'm going to create a new VLAN. VLAN 50 name E, right? Again, check the status. Now the revision number is 8. I have created the VLAN. I have given the name. The revision number is 8. Come to this switch, which is transparent now. It is in the center. This is server, this is client. In the center, it is transparent. So transparent means you can like see whatever is there without any obstacle. So VTP status, look here, still the revision number is 0, right? Now if I'll go here, okay, before that let me check the VLANs over here. Do show VLAN, no 50 VLANs created over here. Come to this and check the status. It has received the revision number 8, right? And if you check here, do so VLAN, it has updated himself as a 50. So whatever you will create, okay, if you try to create a VLAN on client, let us check. Suppose I'm trying to create a VLAN 60. Look here, the error message whatever is getting him here is VTP VLAN configuration not allowed when device is in client mode. So as we have discussed here, we cannot change the VLAN information in the client mode, right? So this is how VTP works. Okay, so I will create an assessment on that and I will send you guys on that assessment. If you want, okay, if you want to allow something, okay, switch port, if you want some switch port to allow the VLAN information, okay, suppose I have created this as a trunk port. I don't want this port to allow for some VLAN, okay. So what can we do? I don't think that the command should work here. Let me check. Suppose intfa 0/1, okay, switch port trunk allowed, look here, VLAN set allowed VLANs when, so VLAN, look here, which VLAN you want to allow, okay, all VLANs or except this. Suppose I want to create a VLAN and which cannot be go through this interface, right? So I can do that as well. If you want to remove anyone, you can remove. If you want, you can type none. It will not forward any VLAN information from this interface. So you can do that as well. Okay. Command to check show, do show interface trunk. It will show you the all the trunk ports from where the VLAN is passing through. So look here, right now on this we have FS01, okay, look here, FS01, the VLAN allowed and active in management 1, 10, 30, 40, 50, right, 1, 10, 30, 40, 50. If I want to block suppose 60, okay, let me create here VLAN 60 name C and F, done. Right now it is receiving the same. If I check here, so VLAN, it is 60 here, it is received. I don't want to forward the 61 from here, so I will go to that interface intfa 0/1 switch port trunk allowed VLAN except 60, done. Let us check here, as it is already have received that revision number. Let me do some other thing here. Suppose I'm changing the name of 60, so VLAN 60 name X, okay, do so VTP status revision number 11, show VLAN, do show VLAN 60 is changed to X. Let me go here and check if it is receiving that or not. Do so VLAN, it is receiving, it's not working here. So at least it should work like that, okay. If you deny that, accept that, it will stop forwarding that VLAN information from that particular port, okay. So this is how VTP works. I hope this would be informative for you, and I will go and I will give you some assessment regarding this. And once again, we'll meet tomorrow with new topic, that is routing protocol basics and static and dynamic routing we will do tomorrow. Okay. Since then, thank you so much. Bye bye and take care.